And now that we have the XLR cord connected to our speaker, the only other thing to do is to plug in the power. And remember that the other end of this extension cord, of course, is plugged into our power grid, which is protected with some jewels. Plug in our power, and it's that simple. We've got two cords plugged in. This is behind the scenes, and we're going to go back around to the front, take a look at the Roadshow box. Now that it's powered up, I'm going to unzip the top. Inside this custom Roadshow box, the antennas are right here, which we can lift right up, and there's also something that's very important. This is known as a lifter. This is a Pro AV1 radial multimedia direct box. Go ahead and lift up our other antenna. There we go. So once you can see that we're open here with our direct box, this direct box has one cord coming off of it. Very simple. Has a 1/8 inch cord. And this 1/8 inch cord, of course, is an audio source. We could plug this directly into the iPod like we had earlier, but what I use it mostly for is to plug into the computer. We're going to come right back over here on the other side, and we're going to plug. Take a look right over here once again. This is the side of the computer again with the headphone jack, which is the out port. We're going to plug that directly in, just like that. And that's going to carry the audio source from the laptop for our presentations and put it right through this direct box into our Roadshow box. The second thing, in fact, we're just going to go ahead and turn this on. First thing you're going to want to do is make sure that all of these knobs are turned all the way down. There's a series of 5 knobs, and then one that's separated right over here, which is the master, which is the main, and these are all numbered 1, 2, 3. So before you turn everything on, make sure they're all turned all the way down, and then you can turn the power on, which will power up your receiver. Each one of these receivers is individual, and each one of them has their own ACT button for synchronizing your microphone. So for example, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our body pack with the headset microphone, and in the same way that we synchronize this with the MA101, we're going to synchronize it with the Roadshow box. It's nice to have compatible equipment like this. The first thing we're going to do, of course, is turn the power on. You can see right here that it's powering it up, and you just take the red dot, point it towards, and press the ACT button, just like that. Testing, test. And you can see right here on the readout, you can see the level lifting up, showing that it actually is synchronized. Right here on the digital readout, as I'm talking, you can see the levels, and that's when you know that it actually has been synchronized. Now that it's synchronized, I'm just going to turn it off for one moment. And it won't lose the synchronization. Now that it's synchronized, it'll stay that way unless you synchronize it to another channel. We're going to set this one down. We're going to pick up the handheld microphone, and we're going to do the same process of turning on the power. Once it's powered up, we're going to take a look where the red dot is. We're going to point the red dot right here for channel number 2. Press the ACT button. Wait for just a moment. Test, test, test. And now we can see the same thing here. The levels are showing that we are actually synchronized. I'm going to turn this one down. Turn it off for just a moment. And the first thing I'm going to do is test the audio. I'm going to turn up the master just ever so slightly, about 10%, and then I'm going to take the number 4 knob and turn it up. The laptop, the audio from the laptop is on channel number 4, and all of the sound can be controlled right from here, turning up the master a little bit, and then number 4. I'm going to go ahead and turn that down. I'm going to leave the master turned up, and we're going to go back to the headset microphone. Now that it's synchronized, I'm just going to place this over my ear like this, which places the microphone right down here on the side of my mouth, which will pick up the audio. And let's turn to the side. I'm going to turn the power back on for the body pack, which can be clipped anywhere you'd like, behind you, on your side. I can see right here that the receiver is receiving the signal, and the reason it's not making any noise is because the number 1 button is the one that's controlling the volume. So very slowly, remember the master is turned up about 10 to 20%, and I'm going to just very slowly, I'm going to inch this one up, the number 1. Testing 1, testing 2. As you can see, you don't need to turn it up very much in order to get the volume to come on. It's a very clear microphone, and if you've been trained by Joel Bauer, you know that your voice is your lifeline, and having pro audio equipment and knowing how to use it is going to put you ahead of the game. We're going to turn number 1 down. I'm going to turn this one off, and we're going to do the same thing and test the handheld microphone. I like to use the body pack when I'm walking and speaking because it's a hand-free way of speaking. It's nice, elegant, and professional. I like to use the handheld microphone if we're doing any Q&A, taking questions from the audience. It's nice to be able to hand out a microphone to the audience members so that they can ask their questions. We're going to do the same thing. Turn the power on. Once the power has been turned on, I can see that it's receiving the signal right here. We're going to do the same thing, this time on the number 2 button. I'm going to turn it up very slowly, inching it up, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, testing 1, 2. And as you can see, you don't have to turn it up very much, and you get quite a bit of volume. That's why we start with the volume turned all the way down, because if you turn it on, it may be already turned on, you get a really loud noise, and you don't want that. As you can see, we've put the batteries inside our microphones. We synchronize them with the ACT, and it really is just that simple to use this equipment. Of course, I recommend that you take care of your equipment. Also, keep batteries with you. The batteries that are in here are AA batteries, which will last. The power consumption on these is very low, so the batteries will last for a long time, sometimes 15 to 25 hours per microphone. However, I always recommend that you have additional batteries with you at your event in the case that your batteries go out midstream, which they will, and also power cords. The MA101 has a built-in battery, so as it's plugged in, it's charging the internal battery. And this MA101 unit will run for several hours, 4, 5, 6 hours sometimes, with just the battery power alone. However, I do recommend using the power cord if you're going to be using it for an all-day event. And that's going to wrap it up. That's your audio equipment from start to finish. Your power, setting up your batteries, synchronizing your microphones. You can use them with either the MA101 or your Roadshow box. Oh, one thing about your lifter box that we failed to mention is very important. There's a button on the side of this box, and it's right here in the middle. This button just pushes in and pushes out. What will happen is when you put an external audio source like a laptop or an iPod, depending on how the room is configured, when you're plugging your audio source into, you might get a humming noise from your audio. And that's one of the things that Joel Bauer built in here, is the fact that if it does produce a humming noise, it's a ground problem, and it can be fixed immediately by pressing this button. So if you plug in all your equipment like we've done here, and you end up with a like a humming noise, simple fix, you press your button, and it takes care of it immediately. That wraps it up. I appreciate your time, and good luck with your new audio equipment.